My name is Atit Tuyaso, but I normally go by the name Bingo, which is given to me by my dear parents. I've got very strange parents. So I'm a language enthusiast. I'm a Thai teacher and also a Thai school principal as well. And most recently, I am a Thai course book developer. So everything is very exciting for me at the moment, and I love what I do. So being a language geek that I am, I'm always excited to hear that people are learning Thai. So can you tell me who's learning Thai here in this room tonight? Oh my God. Okay, that's quite a lot of people. So, no. Can you please keep your hands up, please? Keep your hands up. Right, good. โอเคครับฝั่งนี้ใช่ไหมฮะโอเคครับ Hello. Okay,ครับ keep your hands up for a moment. Thank you. So, let me ask my audience one question. Let me ask my audience who is or has been learning Thai one question. Have you ever had any problem understanding what Thai people were saying to you or not being understood at all? I mean, it must have happened sometimes, right? Or all the time? Okay. So, okay, you can put your hands down now. Thank you very much. So I want you to think back of those times that you had your communication breakdown. What do you think contributed to those problems? Why? Why didn't they understand you, and why didn't you understand them? Anyone? They're speaking too fast. Well, I want you to approach this problem from a different angle. Thai people do not speak too fast. They speak in their natural speed. Now, the question should have been, why don't I understand Thai in its natural speed? Have you had enough exposure? What kind of language course or language class that you went to? I mean, did your teacher speak like this to you all the time for 3 years? Any other possible causes for this? The tones. As in, can you please elaborate?
Sometimes I miss tones.
Okay. Okay, all right. So the tones, pronunciation. So, well, for the tones, as for the tones, it's also depends on how much information you got, right, when you were learning. So again, it all comes to the exposure of the language. Did you focus on getting, getting the grammar right, or you just completely neglected the tones, right? Okay. So from my experience, I think that classrooms and language learning materials are largely responsible for this. There might have been time that you think, oh, the materials could have been a bit better, or the teachers could have been a bit better, and the classroom could have been a bit better. So here's another question. Okay, what are the problems that you had when you were learning Thai in the classroom or from the materials, and what do you think? What are the problems with the current Thai teaching materials in the classroom in language schools? Okay, just imagine you look at your textbooks, right, and you think this is not right. Have you thought of that? Okay. Yes.
I found a lot of the material that we were doing wasn't very relevant. It was talking about Thai traditions and things that happened in the past rather than stuff that related to everyday life.
Right. Irrelevant context. Content. Right. Good. Good. Any other things that you like to share about the current materials or teaching? Oh, sorry. Okay. Yes.
Well, in my case, it's that everything was perfect for something like
Okay. So the methods weren't right for you. Okay. So
I had a book that was for Japanese housewives.
Okay, wow. Niche market, eh? So as for me, I think that the main problems with the current textbooks that are available to you are that they generally unnatural, impractical, and unengaging. I will elaborate on each point. So now, I want my Thai audience. Now, where are the Thai people? Thai people? Thai people? Right. Okay. Now, I want my Thai audience to keep quiet for a few moments. Okay. To let our Thai learners have a go at this first. So, Thai learners, look at this sentence here on the screen, and can you convey the same idea as this sentence in natural Thai? If you want to say this in Thai and want it to be natural, what would you do? What would you say? Would you say A คุณเคยเดินทางโดยเรือหรือยัง or would you say B คุณเคยนั่งเรือหรือยัง So learners, A is very natural. Raise your hands. Okay. So all right. Okay. So very good. Very good. So now let's hear the answer from our native speakers here. คนไทยครับ ประโยคภาษาไทย A กับ B เนี่ยประโยคไหนฟังดูเป็นธรรมชาติมากกว่ากัน A หรือ B B มีไหมมี C อะไรนะมี C ด้วยเหรอ B ใช่ไหมครับ Exactly right exactly B is way more natural than A. However, A and B are not they are both grammatically correct. It's not that A is incorrect. No. However, B sounds more natural because when you talk about taking transport, for Thai people we say we nang, we sit on a transport. We don't travel by it. However, this sentence A here actually appears on the course book of one of the biggest Thai language schools in the entire country, if not the world. So, and you imagine hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students going through this course, learning sentence A, go out there, speak Thai to Thai people in a unnatural way. And it keeps going on and on. Well, languages are not made equal. If you teach Thai like you teach English, you're going to end up with lots of non-native speakers speaking in such an alien way. The same way that you probably heard the word same, right? Same. So it's as alien as the word same sounds to you, but you love it. You love this word so much. Every time you hear it, you think it's hilarious. And you even say it back to Thai people as well. So that we confirm to Thai people that this word is correct, sounds right. Remember, this goes both ways, right? You go out there and you speak Thai in a way that is grammatically correct, but sounds really odd. And Thai people, when they hear it, they think, yeah, I understand that, it sounds a bit weird, so I'm not going to correct it. So that kind of confirms it, right? So my Thai must have been excellent then. So you keep going on and on and on. And the vicious cycle perpetuates. Okay.
One of the things that sometimes happens, you can ask Thai people how to say something. They will tell you to say it a particular way.
Right.
But then when you listen to Thai people speaking to each other, they never say it like that. You understand what I mean? So
yes.
If an English-speaking person says, how do I say this, Thai will say this,
right.
but never actually say that to another Thai.
Right.
So our Thai is helping each other.
Well, this is called a Farang register. Actually, Thai has many different registers.
Can you repeat the question? We couldn't hear.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much.
What was my question again? Oh, sorry. Here's the question. He said that when Thai speaks to one another, they use kind of different kind of Thai than when they teach in Thai. So it's kind of like Thai people have this way of thinking is like, oh, if I teach him like the natural way, or the way we speak, they might not really understand, or I might have to take time to explain down all the way to the to the fundamental level of like cultures. So it's easier to just teach travel by boat, right? For apart from now, instead of now. Okay, so and I'll go back to that in a bit. Okay, so. And about being impractical. All right. So imagine yourself having just arrived in Thailand, right? And you want to get started with the local language as quickly as possible because you want to survive, you want to adapt to the new environment, to your new exciting life. So of course, naturally, you decided to take a Thai course. So you go to this Thai language school right in the center of Bangkok. It looks modern, very good looking staff. You can't go wrong in it. And then you're presented with a course outline. And the text might be too small. Can you read? Can people in the back read okay? Okay, good. So, so you're presented with this course outline. And this is an actual course syllabus from a level 1 Thai course and that lasts for 3 months and covers 12 topics. So if you sign up for this, then you're going to be learning these for 12 weeks, 12 topics, right? So when you see this course outline, did it bother you? Would it bother you? Would you feel like, hang on, something's a bit wrong? Do you feel like that?
Yeah.
Yes. What's wrong with it? Or what do you think is a bit sort of not right?
Doesn't seem to be a structure to it, like learning the language and the way the language is built.
Right.
It seems straight in with a topic without learning the fundamentals first.
Exactly, the priority. Priority is the key word. So, yes. What's with this sort of priority, right? It's a bit off, isn't it? It's like, for example, I mean, I don't have the pointer, so for example, why is lesson 3, how many people are there in your family, be more important than, say, asking for Christ in lesson 11? Or really, do we need to learn how to say I'm chatting online at this point, in week 8? And more importantly, where are all the essential stuff, such as getting a taxi? We all get a taxi almost every day, or maybe at least once a week, right? Buying food off the street, they're literally everywhere. You have to try to get away from them. Right? And after 3 months, you still don't know how to ask, where is the toilet? I certainly couldn't hold my pee for 3 months. So, and being unengaging. So now, I want you to stop thinking about obligations or things that you think you have to do, things you have to endure in order to learn to speak Thai for a second. Take a step back and ask your inner child, right? Whether how he or she wants to learn the language, how he or she wants to learn Thai. So, if you were 5 years old or 10 years old or whatever, how would you like to learn something new? How would you like to learn something new?
Play.
Sorry?
Play.
Play. Games. Ooh, we love games. We love games. Even adults. Anyone? Any other way?
Frequent usage.
Sorry?
Frequent usage.
Frequent usage. Right. Now, input, feedback. Right? So, let me show you some textbook samples found in various language schools in Thailand and ask your inner child whether he or she wants to learn from material that looks a bit like this or this or this or this. Ooh. This one. we can't deny that boredom is one of our worst enemies in any kind of learning. We can get bored of the classroom, we can get bored of dull materials, we can get bored of irrelevant content that has no place in your life. We can get bored of not making any progress, right? And what do we do when we get bored? We give up. So we're bored because we're not making any improvement. We're not better than we were before we hit our plateau. But then again, how can you keep your minds focused when you don't find your learning interesting? So, besides, it's also hard for teachers like me as well. No matter what a good teacher you are, if you're presented with a framework that's just so outdated or so badly put together, or all you have is a boring textbook, then teachers can't really shine. They can't do their job properly, which creates problems for both of us as well. So here's a big question. What's going on? Why are we as teachers and students facing these problems? In my opinion, I think it's precisely because nothing is going on. There has been no major breakthrough. There have been so little improvement. So little improvement, and there have been almost no change for a really long time. And students may have the illusion of choice, right? Because there's so many language schools in Bangkok, so if you don't like one school, you can always move to another, right? And everything is solved. Problem solved. I'm happy. No. It's because the vast majority of the language schools in Bangkok, they implement the very same or very similar methods. And they use the same kinds of materials with slight alterations. So one approach in particular has been replicated by new schools, old schools, big and small alike, for over 50 years. 50 years is a long time for the lack of improvement. In other fields of studies, we might have made so much progress in science, engineering, medicine, but Thai teaching education is still where it was when all these happened. Eureka Garden Central Space, the construction of the Berlin Wall, and the last time England won the World Cup. These events are ancient. So I'm not saying it doesn't work, but some people came out of this system speaking rather decent Thai, right? But in most cases, that's all they're going to get, decent Thai. So should we have a student who's a little bit more ambitious, like, oh, I want to speak with better accents, I want to speak Thai like the way they speak? What choice do they have? What are the alternatives? So, and this is where we came in. Being a language learner and having been teaching Thai since I started my master's course 6 years ago, I want to change. So right now at Duke Language School, we are developing a new Thai course called Journey. And Journey has a goal to eliminate these problems and making the learning natural, practical, and engaging again. So, Journey follows the life of two main characters, Toby and Hiromi. Toby and Hiromi are characteristically very different. Toby is an American man, he's male, he's an expat. He likes outdoor stuff like cycling, biking, rock climbing, and he lives alone as a single person. Whereas Hiromi is from Japan. She's female, she is in employment, and she likes relaxation, like going to spa, massage, shopping, and she lives with her family. Why are we doing this? Because we want students to be able to identify themselves with either one of them to make the learning more relevant to them, and they can choose what's more connected to their day-to-day life. So, let me talk about natural. In Journey, we use natural language. Journey will teach you the realistic way that Thai people speak, not Thai for Farangs. So, for example, we approach the complex system of personal pronouns by telling you when to use formal pronouns like ผม ดิฉัน คุณ and when you just casually call yourself and other people by names. The problem with the overuse of formal pronouns is really a big thing. I mean, if you use too much of ผม ดิฉัน คุณ you end up sounding like some sort of authority. And Thai people will never warm to you if you still sound like you're some sort of their boss, right? So, and oh, sorry. And Journey isn't also afraid to take you through the mysterious territory of final particles. Final particles are like these little words. You know, they are not really, they're not really, they don't really have any meaning by themselves, but they convey moods, feelings, and emotions. So it's very important because in Thailand, when people when they tell you something, they don't only just give you the information, they also tell you how they feel about it, which draws a line between being fluent or not. Okay. So I'm just gonna skip a few things. So for about our content, we carefully plan and organize your learning curve. We ensure that you learn what's more important to you, what's more important to your immediate needs first. So, you know, like taking a taxi, which is very important, right? It should be learned early on. And we also cover subjects that are more relevant to your life, like getting a haircut. You know, we get a haircut like every month. So I've rarely seen any textbooks in any language school that teach you about vocabulary of getting a haircut early on. Maybe, you know. So you don't want to end up with a haircut like mine right now, which I'm not very happy about. So, and, you know, you'll be able to ask 7-Eleven staff to microwave your food for you, which is very important, definitely, more than talking about your mother in, you know, somewhere in Europe, right? So, I'm running a bit short of time, so I'm just going to give a few slides. So, and Journey is a story-driven course book. Stories are powerful. They leave impressions and they connect information together in a way that makes sense to you. And along with learning Thai itself, you will learn about people and characters in the stories. You learn how they like, what they like, how they think, and how they feel. Why? It's because it's to create a meaningful language learning context, not just a bunch of sentences that don't mean anything at all. Our materials are also very gorgeous. So they are carefully designed. They are uncluttered. They're not a burden to the eyes. I mean, this is not just for superficial reasons. It's because we want to read something nice. We want to see beautiful things. So this will encourage you to want to open the book and actually study, and doesn't make you feel like it's a task that you have to do. So we've got lots of pictures here as well, and believe it or not, we've got coloring exercise. So, and all this together is to try to approach language with many different methods. With the knowledge of applying linguistics that I have, we try to accommodate all types of learners by using different approaches, like lots of pictures, audios, text, both phonetic and Thai script. And the book has an interaction with the book itself and the learners. It prompts you to answer questions. It also makes you guess the meanings of the words inside the context. And the books also provide activities, ideas for the teachers in the classroom to get the students up on their feet and, you know, move around, do things. Because we believe that you can't learn language with just one approach. You have to put them all together, right? You can't always get what you want, but with Journey, I'm sure that there would be at least something that's right for you. But that's not all. There's one last thing I want to say about this new method that we're developing. Well, Duke Language School has gone extra mile to add another dimension on top of being natural, practical, and engaging. We want to try to revive your inner child to make the learning fun as well. So when we're all kids, we like comic books, right? We like little stories. We like seeing nice pictures in a comic. And we realize that fun is a good motivator for learning. So in fact, the Toby and Hiromi characters are not just names on paper. They're actual characters whose journeys come to life in our story-driven book. So in every dialogue that comes with the comic-style illustration, which will provide you the context that you need, the course books seem to lack. We also provide the fun that seems to have been missing from the classroom like forever. So at Duke Language School, we believe that learning doesn't have to be a show. And we put our heart and soul in put this together and make Journey happen in hopes that it will help to successfully integrate newcomers into the country that we call home. ขอบคุณครับ